If we talk about National Family Health Survey, we know that it is pretty important in the whole country because it has been informing policy for pretty long, started way back in 1992-93. Now we have already completed the 5 stages of the survey. Surveys have already been completed up till NFHS 5. When we have started NFHS 6, that's from 2023 to 2025, we need to enhance our capacity for the research, and we need to take care of all the zones in the country, in fact including conflict zones wherein surveys hardly reflect the reality on the ground because of so many conflict related elements in it. Therefore, credibility is one mark that should continue as far as NFHS like survey is concerned. Second, the idea of dropping the questions on disability in India, it will come up with a lot many implications, and we cannot afford to drop the questions, and what we get resultantly will be no information on disability. Can we afford that as a country where 2.21% of the population is differently abled, where we have around 2 crore and 70 lakh people facing certain kinds of differently abled or specially challenged problems? Therefore, that is a significant section of Indian society. And instead of further exclusion, needs inclusion. They need more attention rather. There should be more specific and more relevant questions to be asked on the disability in India. Therefore, NFHS decision of dropping questions on disability may be because of certain underestimation, I would say, in NFHS 5, wherein just 1% of the population was shown as disabled. I already mentioned that throughout the documentation of the differently abled in India, the term, the stereotypical term, the derogatory term disabled should not be anywhere. But unfortunately, wherever we get to read about the data of disability or differently abled, disabled is the term that's mentioned everywhere. And more importantly, whole globe has around 16% of the population which is differently abled. Now, when we have 1.4 billion population, and there is a significant section of differently abled people, they need further inclusion, as I said, but not exclusion. Therefore, questions must certainly be asked. A certain set of relevant questions on disability must be asked in the Indian context, when the NFHS 5 has already started way back in July 2023. It will certainly, not including questions on disability, will certainly affect and have policy implications, research gap implications, information gap implications. It will come with a host of implications if we drop an important element of our society that's differently abled. And on the other hand, they have been already named Divyang in India instead of the derogatory term Viklang. From Viklang to Divyang to differently abled, they must certainly be improved. Their conditions must certainly be improved. Their education must improve. All the social indicators and indices must improve. Their inclusion must improve. Their job proportion must improve. Their higher education must improve, because they are lacking in still, and they still have a long way to reach to their actual development. They still have a long battle to fight for their actual empowerment, towards which every member of the conscious community in India, every conscious citizen, every responsible citizen of India should stand by them, should express their solidarity towards the disabled in India, towards the differently abled. As I said, this repetition of the disabled and repeatedly disabled is because wherever we get to read anything about differently abled, it's already written as disabled. That this derogatory terminology should be eliminated. They must get the proper respect in the society what they deserve, and the important questions to be asked while NFHS 6 is going on is very important and need not to be dropped. Thank you very much.